Well, this is going to be a lot of fun, an opportunity for us to go one-on-one with the head basketball coach of the Akron Zips. What a story these guys have been. John Groce joining us in studio. And Coach, great to see you again. It's that time of year. Remember we did this last year. You and Enrique Freeman were here in studio. You guys go to the NCAA tournament. Maybe this is good luck.
Let's hope so. Let's make this a regular occurrence, Nick.
What a run. I mean, you guys have been on 10 in a row, 10-0 in the MAC. You're at the top of the conference again. Just what's been your overall assessment of your season so far?
It's interesting, and you and I were talking a little bit about this off the air, like the struggles we had early in non-conference. 9 new players. Right now we're playing a 10-man rotation, of which only 4 guys played a single second for Akron last year. So it's been learning on the fly a little bit with rotations and who plays well with who, and identifying roles, getting guys, and they've done a great job of, we've got great guys, embracing their roles for the sake of the team. And it's been really cool to see this team evolve from where we were when preseason started, how we played in non-league, to where we are now.
I don't want to ask you if you're surprised, because then that would feel like you weren't prepared or anything, but has this been a pleasant kind of, I mean, as I looked at it, all the guys you lost last year, you brought some guys back, but you lose Enrique Freeman, you lose Triple, you lose a lot of guys. You guys have reloaded. Has this almost been like, whoa, okay, like this has been a pleasant surprise?
Yeah, we were hopeful, right? Maybe that's the best way to put it. We were hopeful that we could turn the corner. We didn't know when that was going to happen. I kind of equated it to boiling water hitting 212, and then all of a sudden it starts steaming. Okay. And that's really what's happened to us in league play. But a lot of it's because of the character of our guys. We have such great guys. They're unselfish. We're one of the top teams in the country in assist rate. We're one of the fastest teams in the country, which has been a total style change. I had one coach ask me, Nick, you'll get a kick out of this. He said, what happened to walking the ball up the floor and throwing it into Freeman every time? And I said, well, we had a pro. They would have fired me if we didn't throw it into him. So we've changed our style. I think it fits this team. We shoot a lot of threes. We play fast. We play a little bit more aggressively on the defensive end, forcing some turnovers, which allows us to get out and transition and play to our strengths. And the guys have really bought into it.
I mean, the game against Ball State the other night, I noticed, okay, you're up by 8, about 5 minutes left in the game. They miss a corner 3. You get the rebound, boom, pop it out to Lyles. And it's like that fast play. You enjoy that, right? That transition.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, in a perfect world, that's kind of who we are and who I am and how we want to play, aggressively, attacking, playing with pace, playing up tempo. We're playing 10 guys. Now, usually we would play 8 in the past and sometimes get to 9, but we've got 10 guys that I feel like have really earned it. It gives us a lot of flexibility. And you referenced the Ball State game. We scored 81 points and 49 of it was off of our bench. And so you just don't know who to key on. Maybe like in the past, you had a Christian Jackson, a Castaneda, Enrique, where teams would center their game plan around those guys. Now it's you really can't do that because we've got 10 guys that have all scored double figures at least 1 or more times in games.
Coach, you've been around, and you've been around this conference. I can't remember, though, 10-0, like for a team. Yeah. I mean, you guys always beat up on each other. We go back to Wally Zerbiak, Trevor Huffman, and the guys at Akron. You think about Romeo Travis. Not even those teams were undefeated. I mean, can you pinpoint what's allowed you to?
I mean, I think part of it, right, you have to be prepared. Part of it, you have to play well. Part of it, you have to be a little fortunate and be lucky at times. So I think it's a combination, really, of all 3 things. But now that, when you asked earlier, are you surprised? If you'd have told me we'd be 10-0, I'd probably been a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
I thought we could be good, and we're playing better coming out of the Princeton last non-conference game. But I think we've kind of just taken it one game at a time. I mean, the guys have really bought into that. And sometimes people think, oh, that's coach speak or cliche. But they really have. You'll hear our guys say, hey, fellas, let's just go 1-0 today. And so that mindset, I think, has been very prevalent in our locker room, and that's allowed us to have some consistent success.
Oh, we're less than a month away from the conference tournament, and I know that is going to be huge for you guys. It will be here in Cleveland. I know you've always spoke very highly of that tournament, just how they put it on here and everything that goes with it.
Nick, first class, all the way from the facilities to the people that operate the facility to what the Mid-American Conference does to the city of Cleveland, the way they embrace it. I mean, it is special. something that I'll always cherish and continue to cherish.
It's a grind, though. You got 3 games in 3
is.
days. That's what you build up to, right? I mean,
it is 100%. It comes down to those 3 days, obviously, in Cleveland, and we know that. I think the other teams know that, but that's also part of what makes the event what it is.
It's interesting. You've gone into that tournament before, kind of like you are now, and maybe as the 4 seed or something like that, and you've made a run. You've gone about it different ways. What does it come down to, though? What's the main key?
A little bit like I said earlier, preparation. You have to be talented, obviously. You have to be a little bit fortunate. But I think a big key for us has been keeping them loose.
Okay.
Really making them feel confident, wanting them to attack, understanding, hey, you're going to make some mistakes just like everybody else does. Coaches do, players do. Let's get to the next play. And I think a lot of that success has come on the shoulders of some really good players that are also good leaders. And so like Freeman and Tribble, for example, last year were great leaders for us, and the guys on the team kind of followed their disposition of the poise that they had, the toughness that they played with. We have 20-some points at halftime against Ohio in the semifinals, and I'm getting ready to walk into the locker room, and I'm thinking as I'm walking back there what I'm going to say. And before I can get in there, Greg Tribble's standing up. He's got the whole locker room. So I didn't have to say anything, other than let's get back out to the court, let's warm up, and let's roll. So leadership, I think, makes a big difference as well.
When you took over this program, was this what you envisioned? Is this kind of where it was? It was like, hey, spot to be near the top of the conference, at the top of the conference, and going to play in the NCAA tournament. I mean, last year, you were in the big dance. You're trying to do it right away again here.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Great support from the city and the university. We have great people there. Obviously, winning has helped. The player development that we've done with guys, whether it's Ali having 1 scholarship offer, becoming an all-league player and a pro. Whether it's Enrique Freeman starting out as a walk-on from Cleveland and getting drafted by the Indiana Pacers. A lot of people are talking about Lyles, Nate Johnson, Tavari Johnson, Shema Scott, and the jumps that they've made. Every player that's played for us in 8 years, other than walk-ons, when they've finished playing for us, has went on to be a professional basketball player for 1 or more years. So what's happened, Nick, is initially with Christian Jackson, Zarius Williams, React, Cheese, Banks, we were asking those guys to believe in what our vision was. To win championships, compete for championships, graduate, become pros, and grow as people, students, and players. But it hadn't happened yet. So I always give a lot of credit to those guys, and I call them the trailblazers because of that. And then once evidence started being created, then people could see, oh, man, I can have faith in this because, I don't have to just hope or think that believe in what they're saying is going to happen. It is happening. And so that has kind of spiraled for us. But all that's helped. Our collective has helped. I know that's a big topic in college sports right now. Our Fear the Rue collective has really helped as well. So there's a lot of people involved in it. It truly does take a village. I say that all the time. It's not just any one person.
This NIL transfer portal world that we're in, do you just have to kind of embrace it? I know there's probably some coaches that are like, I'm a curmudgeon. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Have you just had to say, hey, this is what it is?
No,
right? I mean,
100%.
Yeah.
And, I think part of it for me is like, hey, you can either complain about it or embrace it. And I know the former doesn't do us any good whatsoever. So you have to kind of figure it out. We've really had a hybrid model. There's some programs that have gone almost exclusively transfers. Yeah. Some might go exclusively freshmen or first-year players. We've done both. We continue to recruit both. But I will tell you, the most important thing to me and to us, I think, is retention and development of the guys that we have. You hear Marcus Freeman say it all the time at Notre Dame. I loved how he said it leading up to the college football playoff. Major in retention and development, minor in the portal, and utilize both that way. And I think that's kind of been our recipe to this point.
I know you always give so much credit to your players, but we have to shine a light on you here, the job that you've done. And last year, I look at the NCAA tournament. You guys go, you play in Pittsburgh against Creighton, very good team. For you, are you able to take things from that experience that hopefully you could maybe use this year? Are you able to kind of say, maybe I would do this different, is there anything you've taken and gathered and you want to utilize?
Yeah, 100%. What's interesting is I always tell the players we expect them and put a strategic plan together to develop them from year to year and add things to who they are as a person in terms of improvement areas, who they are as a student, grow their game as players. Well, I expect the same thing out of myself and my coaches. You know, if we're the same from year to year and we haven't grown through these experiences that you're talking about, then shame on us, because we're asking our players to do that. We expect them to be better from year to year. Why shouldn't we be better from year to year? So I can unequivocally tell you, you know, people say, are you a better coach than when you were at Ohio? Yes, because of experience, because of success and failures you go through that you learn from. You know, Illinois to now, like all the things you go through when you see the good, the bad, the ugly, and have to embrace all that and figure it out, I think it makes you better. And certainly all those experiences you're talking about, including appearances in the tournament, have done that.
All right, there's a lot of win streaks going on throughout the country, and your team is one of them. Right now, one of the only few teams in the country, that have double-digit win streaks going actively. Two of them are from here in Northeast Ohio, Cleveland State, who I know you're familiar with too. So just the fact that you could have a national win streak going with teams like Duke and Auburn and some of these programs, what does that say about you and your program?
Well, again, I think it shows that there's a lot of people involved in allowing us to be consistently successful from year to year or within this particular season. So the commitment, I think, is what stands out to me, first from our players to being great every day, and then all the people that touch our program. But no, it's pretty special. And, you know, you really, for me, I haven't really thought about it until, you know, you and I are talking about the other programs that are in this boat currently. And it's like, whoa, but, you know, you don't think about that. Right now I'm worried about, hey, we have South Alabama next. Let's get ready for them. Let's win today. Let's try to go 1-0, as I said earlier. Again, we have to live that out as a staff if we're asking our players to have that mindset.
Hey, you guys have 10 straight wins. Cleveland State with 14 straight wins. I know you're familiar with their program.
Yeah, happy for D-Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I remember he told me, you guys had a scrimmage. We don't talk about these usually. But I remember him telling me, Akron's going to be really good.
Yeah.
and they knew, like, I think there's that mutual respect. Northeast Ohio, I know different conferences. You guys are recruiting some of the same guys. But, like, there is a respect there, right?
No question, certainly. And I've known D-Rob for a long time. He's a really good coach. And as good a coach as he is, even better person. So I'm happy for him, his entire family, and yeah, hopefully they can keep it going.
No, you guys have something unique going on. He's coaching his son at Cleveland State. You're coaching your son at Akron. What's this been like? Got to be cool for you and for mom, right? I mean, the family.
It's been awesome, Nick. I'll tell you, I lost my father in May, and so we knew that this might happen where Connor could be with us at Akron, and it's made me, I think, appreciate it even more than I anticipated. Just that time where what you don't realize is with what we do, I'm gone so much that you miss out on so many things. Sure. You know, fortunately for me, I have a wife who's a rock star, and so she can handle all of that and does a great job with it. But you realize, man, I miss an awful lot of things, and to have him with us and see him every day in practice and workouts in the weight room and pop by the office or be able to take him to lunch or grab a quick dinner or, you know, go to church or whatever. I'm not taking that for granted one single bit, and it's something that I've really enjoyed.
The streak, before we let you go, are guys thinking about it, you think? I mean, there's almost
I sure hope not.
No?
You know,
yeah,
I think that's when you get in trouble, right, when you think about, because the streak would refer to the past.
Yeah.
What's happened up to now, our next day of practice and our next game. And then if you start thinking about looking ahead and saying, well, what's the all-time, now you're thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's really cool for fans. I think it's great for
we like that stuff.
Awesome,
like,
right?
There's an argument, Coach, that like people that love the Zips would maybe want you to lose once before you head into the tournament. You know what I mean? Like to have that. I mean, if this thing keeps going, I know you don't want to lose. It's just.
I can tell you this as sure as night follows day. We're not preparing one day at a time for the next game with the intention of losing the game. I can tell you that. And obviously, there's a lot of really good teams out there, starting with, you know, South Alabama this Saturday, who's had a lot of success. We're paired up for a reason. You know, at the time of the pairing, both teams were really high in the net in their respective conferences. So you know they're good. It's going to be a great challenge, and that's the next one on the docket.
Yeah, and for you, I think about your journey, right? I remember when I first met you, you were an assistant coach with Thad Matta at Ohio State. You go to Ohio, Illinois, now to Akron. Do you ever have time to reflect and just kind of say, what a ride this has been?
I've told the guys, we were talking about in one of our team building sessions, like when I look back at my life when I was younger, let's say, if you would have told me all those things that you just mentioned were going to happen, you know, from playing at Taylor, which is a great institution, coaching there, NC State, Butler, Xavier, Ohio State, head coach at Ohio, Illinois, Akron, chances to coach and compete and win games in the NCAA. It's like a kid in a candy store. Whoa, are you serious? So there's no question, beyond blessed. But what the coolest thing about all of it is, I think, is the people you meet, the players you coach, the staff you work with, the support staff you work with, the administrators, administration across campus as well, not just athletic department. So you start to develop relationships over a period of time that is really cool. My wife and I stay in contact with a lot of those people that we've met, and that's probably the most special part of it.
Just to see Akron basketball being talked about nationally again when you guys are on that bracket and everything, I can't imagine what that does for you, for the program, for the city. Northeast Ohio pulls for you guys. It's crucial. Just to have that sort of national feel to it.
Yeah, no question. And we take pride in that. We've had, and you'd have to look it up, but I know there's less than 15 programs that have finished third place or higher for 5 straight years in their conference out of 364. One of those. We've been consistent, and that's really what we've tried to do. You ask, hey, what's going on right now? Did you envision that? We did. We had a real strategy in place in terms of how we were going to do it and what our culture was going to look like, what type of guys we wanted in our program, who we wanted on our staff, how we were going to execute what we do systematically on a daily basis, whether that's off the court or on the court, and how we coach our team. And so it's pretty cool to kind of see that come to fruition. And obviously it sheds a spotlight on, a great place, great city, great university, blessings overflowing for sure.
Well, Coach, listen, we really appreciate the time. Appreciate you coming to our studio again. Maybe it's a good luck thing, and maybe in less than a month, you're heading back to the big dance.
Never underestimate that good luck, superstitious deal with coaches,
That's
right?
That's right.
As much as I wanted to see you and do this, it was also that was an aspect
Absolutely.
of it.
Best of luck to you the rest of the way. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Nick.